Hello, everyone. How is it going? This is immigration attorney Moumita, and I'm coming to you live to talk to you about immigration and to see the questions that you may have on your mind today. Today, I am going to start with a very important question for all of my viewers and my clients and my friends out here today, which is what to do if your U.S. citizen spouse is threatening to divorce you. What are your options if your U.S. citizen or green card holding spouse is threatening to divorce you and to leave you or do other things? Do you have any choice to continue with your case or to get a green card, or is it the end of your immigration journey? Keep watching. I'm going to go into this question and more as we cover immigration live. And if this is your first time watching me, thank you so much for joining. My name is Moumita Rahman. I am an immigration attorney, and I have been practicing immigration law for the past almost 13 years, and it is my pleasure to do the work that I do because I truly believe that immigrants make America great already. All right, so let's get right into this question. And if you have any other questions of your own, make sure to drop it into the box below, and I'll do my best to answer as many questions live that I can in the time that I have today. So what are your options if your U.S. citizen spouse is threatening to divorce you? Otherwise, do you have any choice of getting a green card? Do you have any option? Do you have any chance of getting a work permit, a social security card, or a green card if you get divorced from your spouse? And the answer is that yes, you may still be able to get all of these things even if your spouse divorces you, and possibly even if you are already divorced within the past 2 years. And the way that this is possible is that the government makes possible for persons who go through certain problems in their marriage that allows them to then file for a green card by themselves. Yes, if you have not already gotten your green card, but you are in a marriage where your spouse is constantly saying to you, I'm going to divorce you, you don't deserve to be married to me, you don't deserve my help with your case. Or if they even tell you that, if I get your green card, all you're going to do is you're going to leave me. Or they tell you that, if you get the green card, then you won't love me the same way. This is a problem. And for these reasons, the government actually makes available to you through the law the ability to apply for a green card by yourself. So even if you get divorced, even if your case is being canceled by your spouse, you may still be able to apply by yourself. And this is through the case that's called VAWA. And it is not just for women, it is for both men and women. And even if you have already started the process with your spouse, you may still be able to apply for VAWA and get your case held so that you can transfer it over to your own self-petition. And what happens in these situations is that what we see in a lot of cases is that a U.S. citizen spouse who does not have good intentions for you may be controlling you through your immigration status. And as a result, they know that if they threaten you with divorce, it'll cause you a lot of fear, it'll cause you a lot of anxiety, and it may even get you to do things that you don't want to do or force you to comply in ways that you don't want to comply because you are afraid of what will happen to your case, to your children's case. Many of you are married and you have kids who are part of your case with your spouse. And in turn, what ends up happening is that you end up putting up with behaviors that you know are not the best for you, that are not good, that you would normally not give a second thought to, but for the fact that you're afraid of getting deported right now, and your spouse is also saying that I'm going to divorce you. So if you are in the situation, I want you to know that you do have a choice. You do have an option, and you do have hope to continue your case by yourself. And even for those of you who are divorced, if you have gotten recently divorced, if you've already given up all hopes of getting your case approved, you signed divorce papers and your divorce just got finalized, as long as your divorce is not more than 2 years old, we may still be able to help you apply for VAWA. Okay, so the bottom line is give us a call right now at 212-248-7907 so that you can find out if you have any option of continuing your case or starting a case or moving forward in your immigration journey. Your immigration journey does not always need to be tied to the whims and wishes of your citizen spouse, okay? That is my message for you today. And hello to all of my friends and my clients and followers who are watching me. Hello, Gabby, how are you? Nice to see you. So at this moment, I am going to go ahead and answer some questions live. And if you have any more questions about what I just said, about what it means to file by yourself or to continue the case by yourself, let me know so I can put your mind at ease, okay? Let's see what questions I have today. Thank you for everyone who is joining me. The realist Elizabeth saying you're the best attorney. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I really appreciate that. Can we apply to asylum after 1 year in the US if we legally enter the United States? From Ilyas 560. Ilyas 560, that's a very good question. Can you apply for asylum if you have already been inside the US for more than 1 year? And the answer is yes. You can apply for asylum if you've been here for more than 1 year. However, if you are applying for asylum after already being in the US for more than 1 year, you have to establish the reason why you filed late. Because there is a rule that immigration has, and this rule is that if you're going to apply for asylum, your deadline for applying for asylum is 1 year from the date that you entered. If more than 1 year has passed and you want to file for asylum, then you have to prove to the government why you filed late. And usually these fall into these categories. You can show that that you have a changed circumstance, or that the conditions in your country have changed, or that you had some extraordinary reasons, some extraordinary circumstance that prevented you from filing earlier and on time. You have to prove this, and the burden is on you to prove this with evidence and with to show the good reasons. And if the bad news is that if immigration does not agree with you that you have supplied a good enough reason to excuse this 1 year filing deadline, then your case will get referred to immigration court, and you may even end up, you'll end up in deportation. So if you do want to file for asylum and you're already in the US for more than 1 year, we first need to look at why you did not file on time. And also we need to see why you want to file right now. If you want to file right now, you need to have a good reason and an excuse for not filing before. And if you have any questions, you want to get your case evaluated, you can give us a call at 212-248-7907. Any idea why a motion to dismiss for an asylum case would be denied? I'm in removal proceedings, but I have a VAWA prima facie from Imran. Imran, yes. So usually if you are in removal proceedings, right now we do have a memorandum from the Department of Justice, from the president himself, basically saying that DHS has the authority to exercise prosecutorial discretion in order to dismiss cases, terminate cases, like things like that, right? But it is still within the discretion. And a lot of judges, we have been, fortunately in our office, we have been successful in getting dismissed many cases where we have a pending VAWA application, but this is dependent on discretion. So if the judge or the DHS attorney does not agree, sometimes they want to see that the VAWA is actually approved first. But you should at least be able to postpone your final hearing until a future date, so to get a decision on that VAWA case. Threatening deportation, taking my 5-year-old son. I've been married for 5 years and I haven't even petitioned for with my daughter, who's 16 from a previous marriage. How would you go about it? From Marissa. Marissa, thank you so much. Here's one thing that I absolutely believe. I absolutely believe that it is a fundamental human right to not have your children used against you, to not be threatened with deportation by your spouse. And yes, I do believe it's a human right. And the bad news is that it happens a lot, and it happens and people don't know about it because people don't talk about this very often. But if it is happening to you, your spouse has been threatening with deportation. Whenever they get angry, they're upset with you. You're not doing what they want. You're not doing things the way that they like. They just want to cause you suffering. If your spouse is threatening deportation against you, the answer to me is simple. You need to give us a call at 212-248-7907. When your husband or your wife, the person that you are supposed to be able to trust the most, is using this as a way to cause you fear, to cause you anxiety, and to control you, that's not something that you should be suffering through. This is why the government realizes this. The government understands this. And this is why they have this option for you to file for a green card by yourself. They know that there are many people that live, years and years being married to a U.S. citizen. They're perfectly eligible for filing for a green card, but the spouse who controls that is not doing that. So now you, Marissa, have an option to move forward and file by yourself. And we can even include your daughter as part of your case so that both you and your daughter can get your green card, get your work permit, and your social security card. So don't delay, Marissa. Give us a call at 212-248-7907. If your husband is a green card holder, what is the eligibility when filing for VAWA? Is there a time frame from fine dine? If your spouse is a green card holder and you are suffering in your marriage, there is no time frame. You just apply as normal. Usually, there may be an issue in the future where you might have to wait a little bit longer in order to get your green card approved. But I'm actually pretty certain that doesn't even apply to VAWA applicants. So if your spouse is a VAWA if you are needing to file for VAWA, but your husband or your wife is a green card holder, that should not stop you from proceeding with filing. And we would be very happy to take a look at your case to let you know what your options are, okay? 212-248-7907. Is it true that you have a 100% success rate for VAWA? From John. John, it is actually, I would say it's pretty much true. The only case that I've ever had denied in my life for a VAWA case was my very first one that I ever did, many, many years ago. I've learned from that. I've only gotten stronger and stronger. And yeah, I'm happy to say that I would probably consider this to be a 100% success rate. There are not a lot of other attorneys that might be able to say this. It's the truth, okay? I have learned so much with you. Thank you so much, Lily. Thank you so much for saying that. Can you file for VAWA while outside the U.S. and how long is the process? From Anya Kamara. Anya Kamara, this is a really good question. And yes, you can file for VAWA even if you are outside the United States. And the reason for that is there is no requirement that you be inside the United States in order to file for VAWA. However, there is one requirement that is very important, and this requirement is that you have to be able to show that you suffered some of the abuse while you were in the U.S. So doesn't matter if you were living in the U.S. with a visa, or you were just visiting here, or you were inside the U.S. illegally. If any of what you suffered happens inside the U.S., but you're outside the U.S., that does not prohibit us from filing for VAWA. And yes, we have brought back people to the U.S. through the use of VAWA and getting them an immigrant visa, which was processed at the consulate outside the U.S. Now they're here, they're living here in the U.S. with a green card, okay? So if you're outside the U.S., you're watching me, you're not in this country, but you were or you are married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, you've been at the U.S. at some point during the course of your relationship, and things may have happened to you inside the U.S., and let us be the judge of that. Because a lot of people may say, well, I was here for 3 months with my visit visa, I was staying here with my spouse, and but I didn't really have anything happen. But don't worry about that. That is our job, to do the investigation, to find out what happened, and to prove your case. Okay, so give us a call, Ania, 212-248-7907. And if you're overseas and you're having a hard time calling us, I would recommend that you actually send us a message either through our website or on Instagram through a DM. Okay. What is the time frame for an I-485 on marriage-based processing in New York and an EAD card? So this is a very broad question. I would say that the average processing time is about a year. Sometimes we see more than a year. It depends on a couple of different factors, but a year to year and a half is pretty standard. My VAWA cancellation of removal was approved by an immigration judge. What is the ETA for getting a green card and being able to travel abroad? From Amit. So when you get cancellation of removal approved inside court, generally speaking, the judges are given a quota of about 4,000 green cards that they can approve every year for cancellation of removal cases inside court, which would also include VAWA cancellation of removal. So what is the ETA? Sometimes you could be waiting about a year to 2 years for being able to get your green card, okay? So good luck to you. If one travels to the home country with a combo card and gets denied entry, can your attorney fight to let you back in, or what happens? From Gabby. So Gabby, this is a good question. And I have a lot of clients who are very fearful of traveling outside the US, even though they have advanced parole, and for a good reason, because things can happen, right? Things can happen. But what I can say is that if you don't have any criminal history, I really have to say that I've never seen CBP, Customs and Border Patrol inside the US, give problems to somebody being admitted back into the US. When they see that you have a valid advanced parole and you have a pending I-485, they're probably not going to give you any problems, but they will take you aside to secondary inspection. This is very standard. They're going to ask you questions, and you just have to answer them to the best of your ability, okay? So, but if you get denied, can your attorney fight to get you back? We could definitely try, okay? We could definitely try to do certain things, including make some appeals to the port director where you were denied entry. Sometimes all it takes is getting on another flight, maybe try a different airport. So it's really can be as simple as that. All right. When you get the message that they're ready to schedule you for an interview, how long do you have to wait for that appointment? From Fernanda. Fernanda, se depende, sí. So when you receive the message, when you're checking USCIS website and it says your case is ready to be scheduled for an interview, sometimes that brings you so much joy because you're like, yes, I'm about to get my interview. But in reality, all that it means is that the field office has your case and they will schedule you for an interview. And you basically have to wait until they have an appointment time available to give you the interview. Sometimes you can be waiting 2 or 3 months. Sometimes you can be waiting 6 months or more. So Fernanda, it just depends, okay? How long does it take for a travel parole to get approved? From the real Realpish baby. So this is really an interesting question because we have been seeing some varying timelines. Like we just got a travel document approved for a regular marriage case. It took almost a year to get that. And in other cases, we're seeing it take, like our VAWA cases are taking about 6 months or so to get. So it could be anywhere from 6 months to about a year. I lost my spouse in July. I got scheduled for my citizenship, and yesterday I was there until they didn't get my file done to their office. I was told I'd be rescheduled. Is that a red flag? From Joyce Sweets. Joyce Sweets, I don't think that's a red flag. You may have also had a I-751 pending, and when that happens is they need to basically consolidate the files, and they can't really go forward on your naturalization interview until that. But I'm really, really sorry to hear about your spouse, okay? If you need some assistance, give us a call, 212-248-7907. I'm living in New Jersey. Can you help me to apply for a visit visa? I don't do visit visas, so I'm really sorry. I cannot help you with the visit visa. I filed in 2017, got approved in 2020, and I was transferred to NBC. I'm a Jamaican, 35 years, my mom. How much longer before the NBC starts asking for documents from Westman? Westman, you simply have to look at the visa bulletin to see how long your wait time is for your category. And that's about how long that you can expect to wait. It's usually more than 10 years. How to know if USCIS has successfully converted a marriage case to VAWA case after a request to transfer from GOTCHA? GOTCHA, this is a good question. You're not going to know. You're just not going to know. But the best way to know is that you're either not getting a denial or you're not getting an interview. And that's how you know that that your I-130 is basically being put on hold, and your I-485 is basically getting connected to your I-360 VAWA case. Gabby, I got you. Thank you so much. How long does it take to get a response for VAWA? So this is the great news. I want to share this with all of you. We just got another VAWA approval today, which I think for this month so far, it's bringing us at 5 or 6 VAWA approvals in the month of October so far. And all of these cases have been for our clients who were in the middle of the I-485 process already. So for any of my clients who are watching, if you came to me, or if you were, or if you are in the middle of your green card process with your spouse, they've abandoned you, they've left you, you need to leave the marriage because you're getting hurt, they're not going to the interview with you, if you're in the situation, what happens is that we interfile the VAWA application. We ask for them to put the I-485 on hold. And the great news is that we have gotten about 5 or 6 approvals so far this month, all for cases where we put the I-485 on hold, and they've all been approved, and they've had the fastest processing time so far for the VAWA approvals, about a year. So if you're doing that, it takes about a year. But if you're just filing a VAWA, a new, and it's not connected to the I-485 that's already pending, your average processing time is going to be about 2 to 2.5 years. Okay. And I have another question about advanced parole. How risky is it to travel outside the country once you get parole without the green card? I would say always talk to your lawyer about traveling. If you're traveling on advanced parole, it's about as risky as you think it might be. If you have any criminal history, then I don't recommend that you travel. But if your case was filed in good faith and there's no other problems, you're generally going to be okay. But always discuss with your attorney first. If you're under DACA, can your employer petition from you from Erica? Erica, that's a very good question. So your employer can petition for you, but a lot depends on how old you were when you got your DACA approved. Because if you if you have more than 180 days of unlawful presence after you turn 18, then you would need a waiver, and you would still need to go outside. So if you have DACA, you don't have a lawful presence right now. But we also have to see if you have a legal entry and if you have how much unlawful presence that you have. So even if you have DACA and your employer is willing to sponsor you, a lot of things depend on if you have to leave the US and if you need a waiver done. So they can sponsor you, but we have to look at a couple of other factors. So Erica can give us a call, 212-248-7907. We don't do employer petitions, but we do help with other things with DACA, okay? My husband is in Iran, and I just sent my I-130 form and all the documents. Congratulations, Mozi. I hope that goes really fast. I love your work. Please help me to understand the EB-1A category and the requirements from Disha. Disha, thank you so much for watching. I don't do EB-1A, so I cannot really help you or talk about EB-1A or any work-related immigration, okay? And this goes for all of my followers. I get a lot of questions on EB-1, EB-2, EB-3. I don't do these cases. And I can't really speak to that. Immigration is so highly complex. This is why I focus most of my knowledge and my experience on VAWA and marriage cases. This is my, I can't say that I have an area of specialty, but I do have a large expertise in this area because I've been doing this for years. And immigration is highly complex. One part is very different from the other. So I encourage you to keep watching. If I can put out some more materials about EB-1A, I will. My wife is finding it difficult sponsoring me on a spousal visa process because her tax return is low. Is there anything that we can do from Samson? Samson, you may be able to do a joint sponsor, and what you need is going to depend on what your sponsor's income level is. Is there any way that I can get my spouse here from Iran sooner because the situation is kind of a war zone for Mozi? Mozi, so if you're filing an I-130, and this goes out to anyone who's filing any sort of application with USCIS, especially for like my Ukrainians who are watching, my Iranians, your countries are in war. They're in turmoil right now. And if your spouses are living there, I would recommend that you file your I-130 and make an expedite request to show the dire emergency, the threat to your spouse's life, possibly because of being in a war zone. Ask for an expedite, okay? Ask for an expedite. They do work if you have some evidence to add to it. Can I include the I-693 in my VAWA initial package? You can, but it may expire. It usually lasts for only 2 years, and it might expire by the time you get approved, so you would have to do it again. Saludos a Oxigeno. Muchas gracias. Where's your office in New York? We're located downtown, but you need an appointment. You cannot just show up to my office, and you need to make an appointment by calling us at 212-248-7907. Crisel, nice to see you. Is it advisable to travel to the States as I finalize my divorce and file a VAWA case afterwards while being in the States? Chriselle, it's a good question. So what happens if you file for VAWA while you're outside, but you travel to the U.S. to file your divorce? Well, you may have other options to stay. I can't advise upon that right now, but if your situation changes, and as long as you don't lie about coming into the U.S., but your reason for coming into the U.S., you may be able to continue the process here, okay? Every situation is different, okay? So we would need to talk again at that time. If my spouse finds out that I filed for VAWA, can she contact USCIS and deny everything that happened? Thank you for everything from John993. John, this is such a good question, and I want everyone who is watching to listen closely. If you're filing for VAWA and your spouse finds out and they want to ruin your case, they call, they write letters, they threaten you saying that they're going to expose you. Look, you yourself know what has happened. You know the truth of what you've gone through. And the reason why there are high confidentiality provisions safeguarding your case underneath the VAWA law, one of those things also includes that they will not deny your case solely based upon the whatever information that a spouse may give, because they know that spouses may try to sabotage your case, right? So they are not allowed to rely on those informations, okay? So don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared by these threats that your spouse is giving. Instead, give us a call so you can move forward on your immigration journey, okay? 212-248-7907. All right, guys, that's all the time that I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are in need of an appointment, call us right now. I've got my assistants, Alberto, Hector, and Diego waiting to take your calls and get you booked for a case evaluation. Again, my name is Moumita Rahman. I am a licensed immigration attorney based in New York, and I work with immigration clients all over the U.S. I don't care where you live. If you have a case, a VAWA case especially, I would love to be able to be the one to help you move forward in your life, okay? All right, everyone, have a wonderful evening. Take care.